All right, and welcome to accommodated testing training for the SAT school day for September 23rd. Before the test day, you'll need to participate in training provided by your test coordinator and prepare your room and materials. Completing the tasks in this section prepares you for testing. During the test, you'll administer the test by reading aloud the scripts exactly as they appear in this manual. Scripts appear in shaded areas, and all other text is for your information and not to be read aloud. After the test, you'll assist in wrapping up administration, which includes tasks such as accounting for all materials and returning them to the test coordinator. Completing tasks in this section ensures that students receive their scores. Uniform procedures are essential to standardized testing programs. They ensure compatible scores. To ensure compatible scores, testing staff must follow the same testing procedures and give instructions exactly as they appear in the manual. As the proctor, you are responsible for conducting a secure, valid administration. You're accountable for everyone in the testing room and everything that takes place there. You'll account for all testing materials, conduct the testing, appropriately document irregularities, and monitor students to ensure fair administration. Materials must be picked up in the small gym by 7:10 a.m. Regardless of accommodation, all students in the building are completing the SAT with the essay. Here you'll see the timing for the evidence-based reading and writing, the math, and the SAT essay. If your student has extended time, these timings change, and look for information on those specific time changes in your mailbox. Each proctor will receive a roster and/or a copy of the NAR for their room from the test coordinator. The NAR is the non-standard administrative report, and this is which accommodations the students in your room are approved for. There will be information on how to fill that out in your testing box. The testing room materials report is provided on the back cover of this manual. It's used to indicate testing information, including the proctor, room number, and test materials. And the proctor should make sure that they have the correct number of essay books and testing books, and also that you have your scripts for your specific accommodations. If you find you're missing anything in your testing room materials, please notify Dave or John as soon as possible. The test coordinator will provide you a copy of the NAR as previously stated and a roster with the students assigned to your room. Below, you will find the specific scripts that are used for each accommodation. However, some accommodations use multiple scripts, and you will get specific scripts for your accommodation that you're administering in your mailbox by the end of the day tomorrow. Some students have the accommodation of a word processor for their essay. If that's the case, students are to use Microsoft Word, make sure that the access to the internet is disabled, and that page requirements are met. The page requirements are listed as here. Portrait style, 2-inch margins on top, 1 on the sides, 1 on the bottom, double spaced, Times New Roman, 10-point font, and a 4-page limit. Prior to turning in the essay, please confirm that the margins and this page setup is confirmed for the essay. Testing room requirements. All classrooms must have a working clock that's visible to students, and no material related to test content can be on display. Please verify this upon entering the room, and if you need a working clock, please notify Dave or John. Seats must face the same direction. All seats must have back, and with social distancing, every student will be separated wide enough to meet this requirement. Some students have an MP3 audio format. If that's the case, they will be emailed by the end of the week explaining that they must bring earphones to the test. Bluetooth earphones are not allowed. They will need the old school plug-in earbuds. They will test over 2 days, and they will use the MP3 format to access the test questions. When you prepare the testing room, confirm that the clock works, assign seats at random, double check that the room seating meets the requirements, and post the following information on the board. Test date, which is September 23rd, 2020. 6-digit school code, which is 143796. And then the 3-digit room code provided by the test coordinator. This will be listed on your room roster. Prior to the test, please review the scripts that you will be reading and refer to the GNAR to know which test scripts to use. Just a reminder that your specific test scripts for your accommodations will be provided in your mailbox. Accounting for test materials, you will have a room roster and a copy of the GNAR testing room materials report. You'll have multiple choice test books and essay books, answer sheets for your students, a supply of blank answer sheets, and the student answer sheet information. It is imperative that you count all of your testing materials when you receive them from your test coordinator, when you distribute them to students, and when testing is complete. If the students' accommodations are over 1 day, they will have a purple test book. If it's over multiple days, they will have a blue. If you find that there's a discrepancy between these with the students in your room, please notify Dave as soon as possible. We should be admitting students to the testing room one at a time and take care to assign them to seats at random or by prearrangement. If they are present, write a P. If they are absent, just write an A. If you do not recognize a student, please ask them for identification for who they are. And if they are not on your roster, do not let them in. Notify Dave or John so we can get to the student to the right room. If a student arrives late, you are able to admit them as long as you haven't already started the timed sections of the test. As students enter the room, prepare them for turning their devices off. We'll get more to that procedures later in this training. There is one exception due to someone who uses their phone to monitor blood sugar, and that proctor will be notified. Students must be given the entire amount of time and can't move on to the next SAT section until time is called. Proctors need to record the start and stop times in the lines provided in the script as students begin working on each section and post the times for students to see. Proctors must announce the remaining time at regular intervals. And once testing has begun, complete the seating chart on the back of the testing room materials report form. During the test, walk around the room at regular intervals to check that students are working on the correct section in the test book and on the answer sheet. During breaks, post the break time, including what time testing will resume. Walk around the room to confirm that all test books are closed and answer sheets are placed inside them. Students are not allowed to access phones or other prohibited electronic devices. Students may want to go to the restroom. That is possible, but please have them go one at a time with supervision. Students who are approved for MP3 accommodations will need to follow the procedures on this page. This includes launching the application, downloading the form on test day, and making sure that the right section is being accessed. Dave, Tanis, and Ben will be there to support these accommodations to get started. If you have any questions, please contact Dave. For breaks, break time is not included as a part of the testing time and is timed separately. Extra breaks are extra 5-minute breaks built in, and those will be on the specific timing codes that you will receive in your mailbox on Friday. Pardon me, my dog. Extended breaks mean that instead of a 5-minute break in between tests, the students receive 10. Breaks as needed is essentially stop the clock. Those breaks shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. If they start to take longer, please notify Dave because the student must complete their testing in 1 day. Individual timing schedules will be provided with the scripts in your mailbox. Remain vigilant at all times during testing. Ensure that one staff member is in the room at a time. And that students do not use calculators or other prohibited aids during breaks. It is imperative that we monitor test materials at all times and do not leave them unattended. During the test, we need to walk around the room to ensure everyone's working on the right section. If a student loses their place, resulting in misplaced answers, follow the instructions, notify Dave and John, and we'll complete an irregularity report. Students who have the accommodation of a computer word processor, please ensure as they are working on their essay that they do not access any other application on the laptop to ensure that the essay is valid. Copying and prohibited communication are the most common ways for students to obtain an unfair advantage. Ensure proper spacing, watch for use of prohibited aids, be on the lookout for cheat sheets, and carefully observe students. If any error occurs in the testing, whether that's a student moving too far ahead, a student who's working on the wrong section, an accommodation that's not being met, please notify Dave or John, and we will complete the irregularity report process. We will need your help in that process, and so we will figure out a time together later that day to complete it. Prohibited devices. College Board has a list of prohibited devices. Students are advised to leave their devices in their lockers on test day or in their cars. Devices must be completely powered off. Before testing begins, students have one chance to turn off and turn in their phones if they haven't already. Once the warning script has been read, if a prohibited device is seen in a student's possession, the test coordinator can dismiss them. If a student's phone makes noise, it's not a reason to dismiss them, but the proctor should turn off the phone immediately to prevent any additional distractions. Other prohibited devices are Bluetooth devices, wireless earbuds, headphones, tablets, any sort of wearable technology, iWatches, Fitbits, etc., and highlighters. We are following option 1 for device collection. And at the door, students will be asked to confirm that their phone is off. We will have students label their devices. We've typically done this with sticky notes. The teacher has held the devices or put them on the side of the room and keep them out of students' reach the entire time of the test. Cell phones and other collected devices should remain out of reach until testing is complete and all test materials have been collected. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this training. Please be on the lookout for your testing schedule and your scripts for the accommodated testings that you are provided by the end of the day tomorrow. If you have any questions, please reach out to Dave. Hope you have a great day.